Welcome to Tree. Have you ever heard of a marine creature that survived 5 major mass extinctions, a creature even older than the dinosaurs? Today, we're diving deep into the historical abyss to meet one of the ocean's most mysterious and magnificent characters, the class Crinoidea, also known as sea lilies and feather stars. They are not just beautiful echinoderms, they are living fossils that have witnessed the rise and fall of Earth's greatest eras. Crinoidea boasts one of the richest and most ancient fossil records among marine invertebrates. The first Crinoidea species appeared during the Ordovician period, approximately 485 million years ago. Initially, they were predominantly stalked forms, fixed to the seabed. The peak of Crinoidea development occurred during the Carboniferous period about 359–299 million years ago. Throughout this time, they flourished immensely, and in many areas the seafloor was densely covered by vast forests of giant stalked sea lilies. This abundance led scientists to designate a part of the Carboniferous period as the Age of Crinoids. Fossils of the stalk segments, columnals, often disc, or star-shaped, are extremely common in Paleozoic limestones. These segments, sometimes called enthrochy or street, cuspous beads, are widely used for dating rock layers and determining the sedimentary environment. Limestone deposits rich in crinoid fossils are the clearest evidence of their dominant role in ancient marine ecosystems. Around 252 million years ago, the Earth witnessed the most severe mass extinction event, the Great Dying, which wiped out over 90% of marine life. The Crinoidea were severely affected, especially the older groups. However, a few lineages of sea lilies and feather stars survived and began to rediversify, cementing their status as living fossils. This survival demonstrates their incredible adaptability to extremely changing environmental conditions. Today, approximately 600 extant Crinoidea species are recognized. Around 80 species are stalked sea lilies, and the remainder are unstalked feather stars, which are dominant in shallow waters. Crinoidea are among the few groups of echinoderms distributed across the entire marine water column, demonstrating remarkable ecological flexibility. A. Sea lilies, the retreat strategy. As competitors flourished in shallow waters, the stalked sea lilies retreated to the aphatic zone, deep sea, where there is less predation pressure and reduced biological competition. They inhabit depths from around 100 meters to over 9,000 meters, 30,000 feet. Existence at such extreme depths requires them to cope with immense hydrostatic pressure and limited food resources. Their stalk is long and flexible, allowing them to anchor firmly to the hard substrate, rock face, or sunken wood, enabling them to extend high into the water column to capture food carried by currents. 2. Feather stars. The unstalked feather stars are the more common and familiar forms, primarily inhabiting tropical and subtropical shallow waters. This is the key ecological difference. Feather stars are not entirely sessile. They are capable of swimming by rhythmically waving their arms or crawling, walking, using their claw-like attachments to relocate to a position with better water currents. Feather stars on coral reefs often display vibrant colors red, yellow, green, purple, which are thought to act as a warning signal to predators or to aid in camouflage within the colorful coral environment. The body structure of Crinoidea is a blend of the characteristic radial symmetry of echinoderms and unique specialization. The calyx takes the central cup-shaped body containing the digestive and reproductive organs. Unlike other echinoderms, both the mouth and the anus are located on the upper surface, facing the water column. Feeding arms. The number of arms can range from 10 to over 200 inches some species. The arms are supported by small skeletal plates and bear symmetrically arranged pinnules. This combination of arms and pinnules creates a massive feeding surface, acting like a giant sieve. Tube feet. Small tube feet line the food grooves on the arms. Unlike sea stars, which use tube feet for locomotion, the crinoid tube feet are covered in mucus and are primarily tasked with capturing and holding suspended food particles. Reproduction and development. Crinoids typically reproduce by spawning gametes into the seawater. Fertilized eggs develop into a non-feeding, free-swimming, bilaterally symmetrical larva called the doliolaria or vitellaria larva. After a brief drifting period, the larva settles onto the seabed, attaches itself with a temporary stalk, and undergoes metamorphosis, developing into a small, stalked, juvenile sea lily. For feather stars, upon reaching a certain size, they will detach from their temporary stalk to become the free-moving adult form. The foraging strategy of Crinoids is a perfect example of passive adaptation to their environment. They always seek to position themselves where water currents are strongest, as the flow brings abundant food sources. Deep-sea sea lilies can orient their arms perpendicular to the current, maximizing the efficiency of their filtering apparatus. The sticky mucus covering the 2 feet and pinnules traps tiny food particles, plankton, small algae, and drifting organic detritus. The cilia on the arm's food grooves act like a conveyor belt, synchronously beating to roll the mucus-coated food into food bowls and slowly transporting them along the groove toward a centrally located mouth. Crinoids play an essential role in maintaining the balance of modern marine ecosystems. As filter feeders, they help remove suspended particles and organic matter from the water column, contributing to water clarity and supporting ecosystems that rely on clear water. Feather stars often serve as shelter for other small animals, such as crinoid shrimp and small clingfish, creating a commensal relationship where the small animals gain protection and may help clean the crinoid surface. In summary, crinoids are magnificent creatures, representing a vast biological history while remaining essential components of today's marine ecosystems, from the shallow, sunlit waters to the dark, abyssal depths. Although the class Crinoids has existed for hundreds of millions of years and survived multiple major extinction events, modern sea lilies and feather stars are currently facing modern threats due to human activities, particularly in both shallow and deep-sea habitats. And that brings us to the conclusion of our presentation on Crinoids, a class of organisms that are not merely marine animals, but are truly historical witnesses that have survived hundreds of millions of years. The conservation of sea lilies and feather stars is not just about protecting biodiversity, it's about safeguarding an invaluable paleontological heritage. They remind us that even the most seemingly resilient creatures are vulnerable to climate change and human interference. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Let us work together to raise awareness and take action to protect our underwater forest, ensuring these living fossils continue to thrive in the oceans of the future. Thank you and goodbye.